Welcome back. You're watching Live from Paris on France 24. It's time for Media Watch with James Creedon, who joins me now in the studio. Hi there, James.
Good evening, Laura.
Now, we're talking about the Republican Party convention once again. Now, Paul Ryan, Mitt Romney's pick for VP. He's young, he's good looking, he's a good speaker, but some people say he's not too good with his numbers. He made a few inaccuracies.
A few inaccuracies. You could call them lies, barefaced lies, but it's usually inaccuracies or slightly kind of, maybe he didn't
Omissions.
check. Omissions.
Omissions.
He was a little bit misleading, so it's all this kind of thing. Now, the US media is big time onto this today, and let's take a look at the computer because you've got several websites conducting fact-checking, or even lie-checking, I suppose you could say. Paul Ryan misleads with GM plant closure tale. I'll give you some of the details in a sec, but just to give you a whip around the media to see what we're getting. The Caucus, which is a New York Times blog, they say in omitting certain details, so not just misleading and falsehoods, but in omitting details in his speech, he's helping his own cause. Of course, he's going to do that, I suppose. You've got the Washington Post. They have a fact-checker section, a blog
Serious
with a little
Washington Post. They don't mess around with it.
Well, it's not so serious because you've got a little Pinocchio.
Yeah.
Four
nose.
Pinocchios is a big lie. So what they've done, not just for Paul Ryan's speech yesterday, but for various attack ads, is they go down, they look at the attack ad, and they give you the facts. And then four Pinocchios means that it's a really, really misleading and untruthful ad. So stuff like that, it is important, in a democracy, seeing as the politicians aren't being so truthful, to have the media at least providing the truth behind the political spin. And here you have the TPM website, top 5 fibs in Paul Ryan's convention speech, and we even have an ad, or rather an edit that was put together. I think we can take a look at some of the pictures of that. This was on Obama's website, in fact, basically outlining where he was wrong via the pundits, right? So the pundits tore apart his speech, and let's take a listen now to an extract of one or two inaccuracies.
$716 billion funneled out of Medicare by President Obama.
It's bogus. You hate to put a fine point on it.
Benefits to seniors actually increase under Obamacare.
In Janesville, where we were about to lose a major factory, right there at that plant, candidate Obama said, "I believe that if our government is there to support you, this plant will be here for another 100 years. As it turned out, that plant didn't last another year.
One thing Paul Ryan talked about was that GM plant that closed in Janesville. That plant was shut down under the Bush administration.
Oh, those pesky facts, they just get
This
in the
is
way,
it.
don't they?
They do have a good story. It's all about the narrative, you see.
Tears and everything. Now, Anne Romney, Mitt Romney's wife, her theme was love on
That's
Tuesday. Last night, there was a bit of humour, wasn't there? A few jokes.
There were a few jokes.
You're going to talk about the iPod, are you?
I love BuzzFeed.com for these sort of edits.
Yeah.
I have to say, they're very good. The worst jokes of the third day of the Republican convention. Now, to give you a little preparation for the extracts we'll see, the idea is Obama plays too much golf, and he takes too many holidays, and because of that, everybody should be very unhappy. But they were telling this in sort of joking form, except it wasn't really very funny. Let's take a look.
The next question is, do you think you could take him one-on-one? And I say, I really don't know. I've never seen him play. But I can tell you this. President Obama would be easy to defend because he's always going to go to his left.
He hasn't been working to earn re-election. He's been working to earn a spot on the PGA Tour.
Oh dear.
That's such a bad joke.
Tumbleweed blowing across the
Mitch
Republican
McConnell,
convention.
stick to the Senate ring because I think you don't have a career in stand-up.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear Mitt Romney's jokes. I did like one that Paul Ryan did there about his iPod. He said his iPod and Mitt Romney's iPod have got very different tunes on, and he said the songs you hear on Mitt Romney's iPod you also hear in elevators and hotels.
Oh,
Cheeky.
so it's all about having the little kind of cheeky asides and making the Republican crowd laugh.
Very cheeky indeed.
Laughter, it translates to votes.
Now, the funniest man in politics, I think, is the Mayor of London, Boris Johnson, particularly when he got himself stuck up a wire.
That's right, on
For
the
the
zip wire
Olympics.
in London.
That is
dangling there.
Hands down the funniest thing I've seen a politician do in years. But he's been on the world stage again, hasn't he? Greeting the flame for the Paralympics.
That's right. The
which
Paralympics
are now
have
underway
started in London.
Yes, and it's the biggest event of its kind in history, I believe.
That's right. But already, remember, people were talking about the Olympics this year, 2012 in London, being the social media Olympics or the Twitter games, because Twitter has developed so much in 4 years since the last time around. Well, it's no different for the Paralympics, and indeed, it's a big pitfall for politicians and for sports people. Let's take a look at Edwina Currie. She's the former health minister, a rather scandalous lady in the UK, and she made just a really silly tweet. Really, she was probably trying to be nice, but very awkwardly expressed.
Why would
Italians
you
are
say
gorgeous,
that?
even in wheelchairs. Love them. Well, that's not very kind of politically correct, Edwina. And Edwina Currie accused of patronising Paralympians, says The Guardian. And The Independent just calls it as it is, really, says that she just did patronise them. Edwina Currie patronised Italian Paralympians. So there you go, Edwina, Twitter fail.
Oh dear, big fail. We're going to end with a three-way in Brazil.
Right. Now, would you believe, this is made news a day or two ago, that a throuple, this is a woman, and a man, were officially sort of allowed to be married in Brazil by a notary. Now, apparently there's no...
Polygamy.
They were already... Polygamy, exactly. They were already living together, so she said, look, they're entitled to family protection the same as the rest of us. So it sparked this debate. You've had it in The Guardian, being a bit lefty. Why shouldn't 3 people get married, they say.
Oh, The Guardian.
Right? And they say, a throuple, what's so wrong with that? But I suppose this does, you see, it reminded me of the anti-gay marriage argument, really. And here you have a headline saying, well, you don't like gay marriage, how about a 3-person civil union? A lot of people say, well, if you allow a man or a woman and a woman to get married, next you'll have an ostrich and a pig getting married, or you'll have a man getting married to a chipmunk and a parrot, and where will it all stop? So I think it's interesting now that you have this throuple debate, and it is, of course, in the headlines being linked to gay marriage. It's sort of like, well...
I think that's a little unfair, linking it to gay marriage, because it's two people.
Still 2 people, exactly.
So,
well, as this headline says, I roll.
I roll,
It's
absolutely.
the I roll section of the paper.
Brilliant. Good stuff. James Creedon, thank you very much indeed for bringing us all of that. Now, imagine taking a photo of yourself every day for 5 years. Daunting for some, but not for the man in our next item. This American has put the results on the internet, and we can take a look now in Web News.